Good morning, just another beautiful day in the life. It's July 13th and I figured I would bring you along for some very specifically non-running content. I'm headed over to Starbucks and gonna do a little bit of journaling. About the week before a race, I like to do a lot of writing down of planning and reflecting on what the course is like, reflecting on what my training, my mental space has been. So we're gonna do that today. Plus, you know, coffee. And there you have it, all done with the journaling. I think it's so weird that I do a sport where I can sit in Starbucks for an hour and a half and journal about, you know, what's going on or how I'm feeling or figuring out logistics. Like, I never did that when I was a track athlete or a cross-country athlete, but then again, I was never going to be on my feet for 10, 12, 14, 16 hours as a track athlete, so the logistics are a little bit harder. I was mostly journaling about kind of checking in with myself in terms of expectations. This is a weird race in terms of my fitness, so I got to kind of figure out, you know, racing is always basically managing your expectations. Got to figure out what I'm expecting from the race. But then also, like, what gear I'm going to wear, if I'm going to do a drop bag, all that jazz. You know, distances between aid stations, what the course is like between aid stations, how long I can reasonably expect. This is a tip I have. I know I'm a newbie at this sport, relative newbie, but I've found it so helpful to try and figure out the max amount of time I will be on my own without help from an aid station, because that tells me so much about what kind of gear, what kind of nutrition I need to be carrying. If I know, okay, worst case scenario, I'm gonna be out there alone for 2.5 hours, I'm gonna need a little bit more than a single Nathan bottle to get me through that. So, wow, I need to oil that truck door. Anyways, that's what I was doing. Now I'm off to work, and I'll bring you guys along for my run later in the day when it's a little bit cooler. Cheers. I believe the technical term for how I feel today is dookie. My legs feel pretty good, which is, man, not something I'm taking for granted after the last 45 days. But in general, levels of fatigue feel like dookie. But I'm happy to be out in the twilight evening, getting in a couple miles, getting these legs to moving. So gonna listen to my body a little bit, but anywhere between 3 and 7, and we'll call it good. As of a long time ago, and by long time I mean 3 years ago, I was doing dynamic stretches before every single run. In college we did it before every run, and I took it for granted, and I didn't do it for like the 3 years after that. And for the last 43 days, I've done dynamics every single day before the run, and statics every single day after. Okay, decided to go down this little tiny trail I had never noticed before, and ended up in a paradise of roots. Woo! Gonna try not to fall in here, and I'm sure you can hear it. Ended up at this little slice of paradise that I'm gonna leave you with today. Legs are feeling good. Gonna finish out probably 5, maybe 6. I can't think of a better note to end it on than this. So